In this video, I'm going to show you how to use layers. Layers are a great way to separate certain parts of your drawing and allow you to hide them and freeze them and do other things to them so that you don't need to be really meticulously selecting little bits and pieces, that you can just work on the area that you're working on and not have too much going on at one time. So right now, if you see in front of us here, we have the red is all the things that are going to be cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a red layer for everything that'll be cut so that we can set everything that we want to have cut into that red layer, and then we can turn it on and off as we need to. So up in this panel here, we're going to open up layer properties, and then within layer properties we're going to create a new layer. So the new layer is over at the end here, new layer, and we're going to call it red cut. All right, so we know that it's going to be red and everything that we make in that layer is cut. We're going to change the properties of it right here to make sure that everything in it is red, and we're going to then assign the colors by layer. I'll show you what that means in a moment. And another thing that's good to set up in your layer is the line weight. In order to be cut on the laser, all of these lines that we create need to be recognized as a vector, and the easiest way to do that is just to set up the line weight as 0. Alright, so the line weight is really, really thin, and the color is red, and we are ready to go. So that layer is ready to go. We're just going to X out of this, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take everything that is red and we want to include in that layer, and we're going to, so what I've selected right now, it's showing us that that's in the 0 or visible layer. I want to change those all into the red cut layer. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to unselect it so that I can continue moving through and select a bit more here. And this is going to be a bit of a tedious process, and this is why it's good to set up your layers ahead of time if you want to use layers, and get everything, all the red stuff. So you might want to zoom in and just pan around and grab everything and get it all into that red layer. Alright, I'm going to pause this, finish it up, and get back to you. Alright, so I paused the video and selected all of the red stuff and changed it to the red layer. What we're going to do now is I'm going to turn off the red layer. So I'll use my drop down here, turn off the red layer just by clicking on this light bulb. And now I can see whether or not I've actually gotten everything. So I turn it off, and all the red should be gone, but I'm noticing that there's a little bit more. And so this is a cool way to quickly check whether or not you've actually put everything into a layer that you want it to get into that layer. So I'm just going to grab these last few odds and ends that I missed the first time around, and then I'll throw them all into the red layer. And this little guy here, and I think that should be all. So I'm going to just use the drop down on my layers and select the red layer, and it's going to give me this error message and say you're putting something into a frozen or turned off layer, and that's okay. We're good with that. So we're going to say, yep, we can handle this, and we look again and we don't see any red left over here. So all the red is now in the red layer. All right, so let's turn back on the red layer, and now what we can do is we can turn off the white layer. Alright, and it's giving us another error message, but that's cool. And so you can see that it becomes really easy for us to select what we want to see and what we don't want to see so that we can work with certain things. So I'm actually going to do the reverse of this. I'm going to turn off the white layer, turn on the red layer, and I did that backwards. I'm going to turn on the white layer, turn off the red layer. And then I can select all these funny stars here, and let's say I wanted to make them into a green so that they would just be etched on. I'm going to create a layer, so I go into layer properties here, and I go to that new layer, the first of these little guys here, and I'm going to call this one green medium. I think that's spelled incorrectly. I-U-M. I think that's better. Alright, the color of it's going to be green, and once again I'm going to just change the line weight right here. It saves me from having to check it all and have errors at the end. And I have a new layer, it's called green medium, and I'll X out of this little layer organizer situation select all those stars and make them green medium. Oops, no, I'm not going to turn that off, sorry. I'm just going to select that layer and they should all become green medium. Okay, so once I get out of there, are they not, so their color should be by layer, but it's not, somehow they didn't get to be green medium. Let's try that again. Okay, so right here where we select the color, we can obviously tell it to be a specific color, but a better way to do this if you are using layers is to choose the color by layer. And then you keep everything organized and you know that that's green and it's in the green layer, and it'll be the right green color because it's in that green layer, and that's a little bit better way to have that set up. All right, so we've put that green into that green layer, and that is a quick little overview on how to use layers to organize your stuff a little bit better.